For those of you who remember that the couple who invented the television rerun, who pioneered the 3-camera setup, who proved that syndication could make millions, began as two people fleeing vastly different tragedies, one from political revolution, one from childhood poverty and family abandonment. Desiderio Alberto Arnaz, Ideacha III, and Lucille Ball would meet on a Hollywood soundstage in 1940. Marry within months, divorce 20 years later in bitterness and recrimination, yet remain bound to each other until death. Their story isn't just about I Love Lucy. It's about two broken people who built an empire, loved each other impossibly, destroyed that love through human weakness, and ultimately found redemption in a final phone call where only 3 words mattered: I love you. Desiderio Alberto Arnaz Ideacha III was born March 2, 1917 in Santiago de Cuba, into wealth and privilege that would prove as fleeting as morning mist. His father, Desiderio Alberto Arnaz Ide Alberni II, served as mayor of Santiago and later as a member of Cuba's House of Representatives. His mother, Dolores Lolita de Acha, was the daughter of Alberto de Acha, an executive and founding member of the Bacardi Rum Company. Young Desi's world was horses, privilege, and the assumption that power was hereditary. Then came 1933 and the revolution led by Fulgencio Batista. The family's wealth was confiscated, their property seized. Desi's father was imprisoned for 6 months. American officials eventually secured his release, believing him neutral in the revolt. But the Arnaz family's Cuban life was over. They fled to Miami with nothing. One of his first jobs consisted of cleaning canary cages. But music was in his blood. Within a few years, he'd formed a small band and was hired by Xavier Cugat, the king of Latin music. Desi soon left, forming his own band, and literally launched the conga craze in America, that snaking line of dancers following a conga drum beat that swept through nightclubs coast to coast. He was cast in the Broadway musical Too Many Girls in 1939, and when RKO Pictures decided to film it in 1940, Desi went to Hollywood, ready or not. Lucille Ball was born August 6, 1911, in Jamestown, New York, the first child of Henry Durrell, a telephone lineman for Bell, and Desiree Hunt. When Lucy was 3, her father relocated the family to Montana for work, then Michigan. On February 28, 1915, Lucy's father died from typhoid fever. Lucy was not yet 4 years old. Her mother, suddenly widowed and pregnant with Lucy's brother Fred, returned to Jamestown. She eventually remarried Ed Peterson. By 15, Lucy knew she wanted to perform. Her mother enrolled her at the John Murray Anderson School for Dramatic Arts in New York City. Lucy was deemed too shy and sent home. Undaunted, she worked as a waitress and hat model. In 1933, she was chosen as the poster girl for Chesterfield cigarettes, which led to Hollywood casting her as a Goldwyn girl in Roman Scandals, 1933. She was put under contract to RKO Radio Pictures, but spent the 1930s in bit parts and B-movies. Attractive, capable, completely unremarkable. RKO was filming Too Many Girls, and both Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball were in the cast. She was 28, though claiming to be 25. He was 23, though claiming to be 26. They would split the difference in their ages for years, each saying they were born in 1914 to hide the fact that Lucy was 6 years older. The day they first met, Lucy had a black eye and torn dress from filming a fight scene for Dance, Girl, Dance. Desi didn't find her attractive until they met again later when she changed clothes and applied makeup. His first impression then, that's a hunk of woman. They fell hard and fast. Desi proposed to Lucy while they drove to a nightclub. On November 30th, 1940, they eloped to the Byram River Beagle Club in Greenwich, Connecticut. The marriage was turbulent from the start. Desi drank heavily. He had affairs. Lucy struggled with his touring schedule, spending months apart. In 1943, Desi was drafted, but a knee injury kept him from combat. He was assigned to USO duty entertaining injured soldiers in California. After discharge, he resumed orchestra touring. By 1946, he was performing his signature song, Babalu, to packed houses. But Lucy found his long absences detrimental to their marriage. They began formulating plans to work together, to keep him home, to save what was fracturing. In 1948, Lucy starred in the radio comedy My Favorite Husband as Liz Cooper, the scatterbrained wife of a Midwestern banker. The show became wildly popular. In 1950, CBS approached her about adapting it for television. Lucy had one non-negotiable demand: Desi must play her husband. CBS resisted. They wanted her radio co-star, Richard Denning. They told Desi, "You cannot have a Cuban husband for an American girl on television. The American people would not accept it." CBS feared showing an interracial marriage, Latin and Anglo, would alienate viewers. Lucy refused to back down. In summer 1951, she and Desi embarked on a live vaudeville tour performing together, essentially auditioning their chemistry for skeptical network executives. Audiences loved them. CBS relented, but with conditions. Desi and Lucy formed Desilu Productions with $5,000, making demands that seemed insane. Film in Hollywood, not New York, where most TV was shot. Use expensive 35mm film instead of kinescope. Shoot with 3 cameras simultaneously in front of a live studio audience. And, most audaciously, retain ownership of the show. CBS said film would cost too much. Desi and Lucy agreed to salary cuts from $5,000 per episode to $1,000 per episode in exchange for complete ownership. It was the deal that would make them millionaires. On October 15, 1951, I Love Lucy premiered on CBS. Lucy played Lucy Ricardo, a housewife with showbiz fantasies but no talent, constantly scheming to break into her husband's act. Desi played Ricky Ricardo, a Cuban bandleader trying to maintain his career while managing his wife's antics. Vivian Vance and William Frawley played their landlords and best friends, Ethel and Fred Mertz. The show was an instant sensation. The 3-camera setup allowed for multiple angles and reactions. The live audience provided genuine laughter, no canned laugh tracks. The 35mm film meant the show could be rerun with perfect quality, pioneering television syndication. On July 17, 1951, Lucy gave birth to their daughter via cesarean section at age 39. In 1952, Lucy became pregnant again. CBS told them, "You cannot show a pregnant woman on television." Desi consulted a priest, a rabbi, and a minister, all of whom said nothing was wrong with showing a pregnant Lucy. CBS relented but refused to allow the word pregnant. Desi substituted spectin in his Cuban accent. On January 19, 1953, Lucy Ricardo gave birth to little Ricky on screen, the same night Lucille Ball gave birth to Desiderio Alberto Arnaz IV, Daisy Jr., in real life. The episode drew 44 million viewers. 72% of American televisions were tuned to I Love Lucy that night. When Ball became pregnant and couldn't film 39 episodes, Desi and producer Jess Oppenheimer decided to rebroadcast popular first-season episodes, creating the hugely profitable syndication market. Desilu Productions expanded, producing The Untouchables, December Bride, and other hits. In 1957, they sold CBS syndication rights to 179 episodes of I Love Lucy for $4.5 million, then used that money to purchase RKO Studios. Lucy became the first woman to head a major Hollywood studio since Mary Pickford in the 1920s. The couple launched the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour, 13 one-hour specials that ran until 1960. But behind the scenes, the marriage was disintegrating. Desi's alcoholism worsened. His infidelity became blatant. Lucy's jealousy and rage grew. They fought constantly. The stress was killing them both. On March 2, 1960, Desi's 43rd birthday, Lucy filed for divorce. It was finalized May 4, 1960. 20 years of marriage ended. Despite everything, they remained business partners in certain ventures. And beneath the anger, something endured that neither quite understood. In 1961, Lucy married comedian Gary Morton, a nightclub comedian 13 years her junior. The marriage was stable if unspectacular. Morton lacked Desi's charisma, but provided steadiness Lucy desperately needed. The Lucy Show debuted in 1962, running 6 seasons. Here's Lucy followed in 1968, running until 1974. with both Lucy and Desi Jr. appearing as her children. Lucy continued working, guest appearances, specials, films. Mame, 1974, was designed to revive her film career but flopped critically and financially. In 1985, she took a dramatic role in Stone Pillow. In 1986, Life with Lucy debuted on ABC. Aging and unable to perform physical comedy at her former level, the show was canceled after 8 episodes. Her last public appearance was at the 1989 Academy Awards with Bob Hope, announcing Best Picture. On December 7, 1986, Ball was recognized as a Kennedy Center Honors recipient. Desi had been chosen to introduce her, but he died from lung cancer 5 days earlier, on December 2, 1986. After the divorce, Desi continued producing with Desilu and later independently. In 1963, he married Edith Mack Hirsch. They moved to Del Mar, California, where Desi owned a 45-acre horse breeding farm and raced thoroughbreds. He gradually scaled back his involvement in entertainment, though he made occasional appearances. Alice in 1976, Saturday Night Live in 1976, where he sang Babalu and led the cast in a conga line, and his final screen appearance in The Escape Artist, 1982. In 1976, he published his autobiography, A Book, with characteristic Desi understatement in the title. Desi was a lifelong heavy smoker. In early 1986, he was diagnosed with lung cancer. His daughter Lucy stayed by his side constantly during his final days. On November 30th, 1986, what would have been their 46th wedding anniversary, Lucy called Desi in the hospital. According to Lucy, her mother simply said, I love you, Desi, I love you," repeating the words over the phone. Arnaz, who had barely spoken to anyone in days and hadn't eaten in 3, answered, I love you too, honey. Good luck with your show. He died 2 days later, on December 2, 1986, at age 69, at his home in Del Mar, California. His body was cremated and his ashes scattered. In May 1988, Lucy suffered a stroke that partially paralyzed her. She recovered, but developed heart problems. On April 18, 1989, she underwent emergency open-heart surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. The surgery appeared successful. But on April 26, 1989, the 56th birthday of her friend Carol Burnett, Lucy suffered a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm and died at age 77. That morning, she had spent her last hours ordering flowers for Carol's birthday, as she'd done every year. The flowers arrived that afternoon, hours after Carol learned Lucy had died. Lucille Ball was cremated, and her ashes interred at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills. In 2002, her children, Lucy and Desi Jr., moved her remains to the family plot at Lakeview Cemetery in Jamestown, New York, returning her to the town where it all began. So, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Subscribe to remember. And if you could only save one Lucille Ball performance for future generations to discover, the physical comedy, the dramatic acting, or her work behind the camera as a producer, which would it be and why? Let me know in the comments.